Hi everyone, we are Power to the People. So we believe that the idea of the smart city is so often talked about in terms of sort of multi-billion-pound investment in top-down infrastructures, that the world can be changed simply by making sort of grand, big, smart technologies. So look at this pressure up from IBM. It's really powerful ways to fix the world's problems. So what we believe really is that what's missing, obviously, from this image is it's people. The things that all of us do every day, the tiny habits and behaviors that aggregate to be the sort of collective energy problem that we face as a society. So we believe that instead of trying to work from the top downwards, you have to start with the people and what they do every day and how they do it, and trying to help them to change their bad habits into good habits. So if we can help the individual to do a few smaller things every day, and if that happens again and again with more and more people, that'll add up, obviously, to a huge change that counters the consumption problems. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to help change bad habits into better ones? So what if there's a tool for someone like John? So John is a lot like, I imagine, a lot of people in this room. He's an early adopter. He wants new technology and new apps the day that they come out. He's also someone who cares about his role in the world. If there was a smart tool that could help him to change his habits for the better while saving energy and money, obviously he'd want it. He would adopt it in a heartbeat. And there's a lot of people out there who are just like him. So we went out to try and find people like our John. So we chatted about what this tool might be like. And we found people who really wanted to embrace that sort of change in their lives and changing their habits. But everyone finds it hard to change bad habits. And the reward that comes when you're able to do that can be quite life-changing. And there's research out there that shows that awareness and feedback on your energy use can contribute to up to like a 10 to 15% reduction in energy use without compromising the sort of lifestyle that you want to live. So that's why we're introducing habits. So, okay. So habits is a smartphone app that helps you to understand all the little things that you do in the day, all your good and bad habits, how they shape your impact as an energy consumer. It helps to show where you can break habits and build new ones, and does this in an intuitive, rewarding, and simple way. So there's already smart technologies like smart meters out there, but what about the things that you can't automate, you can't collect in an automated fashion? So John downloads Habits, and its light interface allows him to quickly set up and configure it. And the more details you add to the richer the experience comes. So Habit learns John's behavior in a really straightforward way. It asks him questions. So we want John's user experience to be as seamless as possible. So say he checks his phone, he's probably procrastinating, and once every couple of hours, Habits will ask a question to learn more about him. And these questions could seem a little random, like how many times you boiled the kettle, or did you take the lift or the stairs, did you eat strawberries today? All of these questions are designed to determine John's good and bad habits, and absurd as they might seem, certain tiny details can have a major impact on John's total footprint. And the more questions John answers, the richer his profile becomes, and he can learn more from the app by going in and looking at some of the data that it collects. So we're inspired by the idea of the battery indicator that we all have in our phones. So John can see all of the things that are burning his energy consumption the most while traveling or at home or at work. So we're also inspired by the idea of habit loops. So you have to find ways to reward good behavior and highlight bad behavior to really motivate behavioral change. So when John goes into the stats area of habits, he can start to see how he compares his own stats with, say, his stats from last month, and against maybe his neighbors, so he can see if he's the best performing person in his neighborhood. So like a Keep Fit app, John can start to compete to save energy in a whole range of different ways using data that might be taken from the Open Data portal. So he could be like the social king of his neighborhood while obviously saving energy and money for himself. So habits can go even further. We've developed the idea of sort of nudging. So like nudges, the example in this case is that the app knows that John's mostly driven to work recently, but it also knows that tomorrow's weather is going to be beautiful, and it will prompt him. It will ask him a little question: are you interested in cycling tomorrow instead? And if he is interested, the app can go on and give him more information about how to find places to get cycle information. So John has a powerful tool to shape his own personal use, but we're also interested in how we can upstream that data. So we've got Maria, who is a council data analyst, She's also an early adopter. She sees habits as a rich source of open data, and she wants to use this data to inform policy and make informed decisions which improve top-down policies. All of habits.
Thank you, Power to the People.
Can I ask you a question about habits and the habit of, I can imagine an early adopter, somebody who's quite techy, taking a nap and running with it for a wee bit, but it's not uncommon for people to input data for a fortnight and then say, no, that's too much hassle, and just drop that out. Where is the sort of sustainability in the project, Duncan?
I think I think that's where the idea of the reward system, the habit loop, the idea that you have a cue and then a routine and then a reward. So if you want to using the app as a habit. So the cue is you ask a question, the routine is to answer that question, but the reward is in the same way that an app like Strava, which is jogging and cycling and things, rewards you by showing how your performance changes over time or how you perform against other people. It's that kind of self-competition or competition against other people that would drive that sort of reward structure and the rewards you drive from. But there's also kind of external rewards, the obvious things that you gain from reducing your energy consumption, less bills, feeling happier and fitter and healthier because you cycle to work more because you're being prompted to do it.
And like one of the last topic we can touch with the time is a more a bigger aspect from a council, for example, who would ask the developing team to send new questions, and that would be a way to monetize the app, make it sustainable economically. So there would be a new set of questions once in a while to keep the user interested in continuing to answer these questions, because running the car or jumping up the stairs is not interesting over months or 2 months.
So were you saying those questions would be organic from the users themselves? Is that what you said there?
A combination of that, but the idea that we unfortunately didn't get on to touching on was the idea that if the council wants to learn more about water usage data, or whoever the organisation might be, they can push more questions that would highlight that sort of data. So the richness of the data that they're able to take upstream from this data set is more tailored to the things they want to find out. So it's about asking the right questions to find the right data.
Does your approach to habits generate data, or are you actually using existing data to actually drive some of the?
Yeah, so every time you answer a question, it's building the profile. So you end up with the kind of feedback data on what you're doing, and you can go deeper into that data. And that builds, so that profile would be aggregated with all the other people who use habits, and that would be the data source which is fed up to the council to help inform policy.
And like on that last slide, there's the data from the open port for Glasgow Open Say. If we compare the energy use for his house compared to another time when he was not using the app, that is really useful.
Okay, thank you, Power to the People.